Igneous Hammer is the Trials of Osiris hand cannon, and it's going away soon. According to the February 3rd TWAB, it's going away. So yes, FOMO, fear of missing out. This is our last weekend, right now, next 2 days, to obtain this hand cannon before next season. Because next season, it will cease to exist. The only way to obtain it from there is to cross your fingers and hope that Xur sells it, or that they eventually re-add it to the loot pool, and that could be a very long time. In today's video, I want to talk about what makes Igneous Hammer unique, and what perks you should maybe go for a variety of situations. So without further ado, let's get into it. First and foremost, the Adept version can only be obtained for going flawless. That means 7 wins with 1 loss if you take a Mercy Passage. This weekend is Endless Vale, which is a fantastic map. I had some good cards and I had some bad cards. This is the last one, so a lot of people are playing, trying to get the Igneous Hammer, which means the population is up, which means your chance of going flawless is maybe the easiest it has ever been. So, let's take a look at this. Its base stats is 68 range, but you could also consider that you're always going to use an Adept Icarus grip, so the range could be an additional +5. The recoil direction is 95, stability 42, handling 43, reload 37, and aim assist 69. Anyhow, is recoil direction at 100 from arrowhead break, chambered compensator, or extended barrel worth it? To me, it's not necessary, but if this is a gun that will be your daily driver, one that you main, then yes, it's noticeable, but not necessary. The next thing to consider is your input device. If you play controller, you're going to want a naturally higher stability, so chambered compensator, ricochet rounds, a stability masterwork, even a stability mod might be worth it. You could also go for elemental capacitor, which on a Void subclass, we're about to get a Void 3.0 rework, will add a bunch of stability, and the gun will feel exactly like a 140 hand cannon, but it just shoots at 120 and hits slightly harder. Also, since it does shoot slower, that means you have more time in between shots to correct your recoil. So I would say, in my opinion, between 60 and 70 stability would feel really good on a controller, but you can go even higher if you want an easier shooting experience. The next stat line to talk about is the range stat. On a 120 hand cannon, it has naturally high range, and the range stat scales differently than a 140 hand cannon in terms of damage falloff. So therefore, pretty much wherever the range lands is good, but if you're playing on Widow's Court, obviously you want to up the range as close to 100 as you can get for free. Keep in mind, it does have the perk Opening Shot, and it does have Killing Wind, and it does have Encore. At the current moment, Encore isn't a fantastic perk. I'll let you read on screen what it does right now. Killing Wind seems to do it better for mouse and keyboard. However, knowing Bungie's balancing scheme, I would hold on to an Encore roll on the off chance that they make that perk a lot more juiced. The next stat to mention is the handling stat. On a 120 hand cannon, handling is naturally low, but there are perks to offset this, and there are builds to offset this, like the Ophidian Aspect Gauntlet on Warlock or the Dragon Shadow chest piece on Hunter. For a generic roll though, this gun does offer quick draw, which is phenomenal, but if you don't have any handling points in it, it's going to feel very jarring, instantly swapping to a weapon as fast as possible, but then a second later, having it feel really sluggish and putting away slowly. The quick draw perk got nerfed in the past, so it is now only quick draw and not quick both draw and stow. You can offset the sluggish feeling by also going for the snapshot perk. This is a very lethal combo to go quick draw and snapshot and then throw everything else into range and stability, ignoring the handling stat entirely. Another generic option would be to go for the Celerity perk, which rolls on every single Igneous Hammer as a second selectable perk option. What Celerity does is it gives you plus 18 handling and plus 18 reload speed just for having the perk equipped. And if you happen to be the last Guardian standing, you get 100 handling, 100 reload, 100 aim assist, less flinch, increased accuracy, highlighting through the scope, and radar while aiming down sights. So it is a really juiced perk and honestly underrated. I like just the base handling that it gives, so it's worth it to me. You could go for something like a handling masterwork, arrowhead break, or fluted barrel, and celerity to get 84 handling with fluted, or 79 handling with Arrowhead. Then you can take it even further with Killing Wind, or after you get a kill, it is as fast as it could possibly be. Now for a slightly more specific approach to the handling stat, you could take the Elemental Capacitor perk, but instead of using a Void class for stability, you're using an Arc class for handling. By going a Range Masterwork with Arrowhead Break, you will perfectly put the handling stat at exactly 100 while keeping the range at 82. Considering I already play Arc classes frequently, this perk doesn't really have much of a cost, and it makes an already good hand cannon even better. If I had to point out one weakness of the Igneous Hammer though, it's its low magazine. It has 8 bullets, so I think that having appended mag or even extended mag isn't a total throw, because it takes your bullets up to 10. And that is very useful in Trials of Osiris. Oftentimes, I feel swayed to go ricochet rounds, but unless I have a reloader perk like Rapid Hit, Outlaw, Subsistence, or Overflow, I like Overflow the most out of any of those, I feel like I'll run out of bullets too frequently and can't secure the final kill in a round of Trials of Osiris. With everything explained so far, you should be able to look at the perks yourself and make an educated decision on how Igneous Hammer can perfectly fit your build. One thing to note though is that there is the fringe case of the fact that Igneous Hammer is solar, therefore it has a synergy in both PvP and PvE with the Path of Burning Step boots on Titan and the Mantle of Battle Harmony on Warlock. Path of the Burning Steps give you Rampage for double kills in PvP, and Mantle of Battle Harmony gives you Rampage for a single kill, with the caveat that you have to have your super fully charged and play on a solar subclass. This is part of the reason I say go for an Igneous Hammer right now, even if it's not adept, because you never know what interesting interaction will exist in the future, or if you're going to fall in love with an exotic like Mantle of Battle Harmony. For the rest of the video, I'll talk about some sample rolls that I think are very valuable and tell you why. Starting with PvE, the first perk you want to go for is a reload boosting perk like Outlaw, Rapid Hit, Subsistence, or Overflow, and then combine that with a damage perk like Rampage or One for All. In the magazine column, you can either go for something that increases your magazine or armor-piercing rounds to help with getting multi-kills, therefore keeping up Rampage or One for All. Also, don't forget, since it's Adept, you can use an Adept magazine mod to boost the magazine up to, is it 11, 12, 13? It's a lot of bullets. Okay, now for PvP sample rolls, let's go with the I like to use a bow, but I want a primary weapon to clean it up. What's the roll I go for? You go for Quick Draw, Snapshot, magazine doesn't matter, barrel does slightly matter. I would say that you want to spec into range over anything, since you're just trying to clean up a bow shot from across the map, so damage drop off does matter a lot here. The next roll is for the player that plays an Arc subclass and wants a good daily driver hand cannon. I would recommend Range or Stability Masterwork, Arrowhead Break, Appended Magazine, with the option of selecting Ricochet rounds, because that does have an interaction with Arc Strider where you can shoot yourself to proc a faster grenade recharge. Then, of course, since you're playing Arc, you want to go Elemental Capacitor on the right-hand column with Killing Wind on the left hand to pump out that range a little bit further and hopefully get some multi-kills. The second best perk could probably be Rapid Hit or Overflow. The next sample roll is for an Ophidian Aspect build. If you didn't know, Ophidian Aspects boost handling by plus 32. Therefore, you want the handling stat as close to 68 as you can possibly get it. And I think this perk permutation makes a lot of sense and takes advantage of the Celerity perk, so you can be any subclass and not just Arc. It is as follows: Celerity on the right-hand column, then the left-hand column, you can go pretty much any perk, but I think you're going to get a lot of mileage out of something like Rapid Hit, and then Ricochet rounds to get an additional stat bump to stability. We're going to take that even further with the Chambered Compensator Barrel, and then a Handling Masterwork, which puts the handling at 66, which means that with Ophidian Aspects, it's going to be 98 handling, 80 range, and 62 stability. And that 62 stability is going to feel even better because every headshot you land with Rapid Hit gives you a bit more stability. Therefore, this is going to be one of the easiest shooting experiences, and it's going to handle beautifully. Next up, for a Dragon Shadow build, this one's pretty quick. You go max range on the Barrel, Masterwork, and Magazine. For perk 1, Killing Wind, because it adds mobility after a kill, and that's useful. Usually on a Dragon Shadow build, you intentionally take low mobility and up your other stats like Resilience, since every time you dodge, it gives you a flat mobility bonus. So sometimes things don't go your way, and you roll into somebody, then you die, then you spawn up, and you have low mobility and have to wait out that really long dodge cooldown. What you can do is use Igneous Hammer to accelerate that by improving your mobility with Killing Wind. Also, since you're using Dragon Shadow, I think you spec into something like Snapshot on the right hand column because it pushes your aim down sight speed even faster than Dragon Shadow does on its own. For the next sample roll, or I wouldn't even call this a roll, just value opening shot and moving target. We might not get another hand cannon that has this elite perk. Opening shot, for example, 20 range, 20 aim assist, and 5% damage fall off increase on the opening shot. And since it's a 120, that's already like 1/3 of your bullets right there, maybe even half if you have some sort of damage booster. So to have half your shots easier to land is a mammoth of a perk. The other one would be moving target, which is a flat 10 aim assist, and it decreases the speed penalty from aiming down sights, which means jiggle peeking a corner, popping in and out of cover, and taking shots means that it's going to be easier to accomplish because you can move faster, and that's one of the ways to take the negative of the gun firing slower so that you can beat a 140 RPM hand cannon in a duel. The final sample roll worth mentioning is going to be for the Mantle of Battle Harmony and or the Path of the Burning Steps. I think on the right hand column you go Rampage just like PvE, and on the left hand you have some choices. If you're going Appended Magazine, you can actually get away with Subsistence here if you're looking to farm a 7th column. I think if you go into the Momentum Control playlist and start racking up Rampage, you really can get a one-tapper here that seems to never run out of ammo. And with that said, I think that wraps up my roll recommendations, so don't sleep on this hand cannon. I'm sorry that it's going away. I hate FOMO. I wish they would just put up some activity like Menagerie, where if I've already unlocked something, I can go for a more specific deterministic role. Maybe weapon crafting should add a Trials of Osiris slot and add these weapons, because I feel bad that new players can't access these weapons. Anyhow, I'm Cammy. I'll see you in the next one. Hope you enjoyed.